In this era of AI and data driven apps, providing secure, seamless access to both apps and agents is essential. In this episode of the Low Code Revolution, we are joined by Fabian and Joylynn, who will tell us all about enabling secure customer access to your agents by integrating Microsoft Entra External ID with Copilot Studio. Stay tuned. Fabian, Joylynn, welcome to the show. So happy to have you both.
Thank you.
Before we jump right in, it would be awesome if you would introduce yourselves and let us know what you do at Microsoft.
Ask that. My name is Joylynn Kirui. I'm a senior cloud security advocate at Microsoft, and I do everything developer security. So, and mainly, you probably have heard of the terminology DevSecOps. I do mainly DevSecOps and everything that entails adding security to the development pipeline.
Hi, my name is Fabian Alves. I'm a product manager in identity and network access, and I work with customers, helping customers to adopt external identities.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, for those who may not know, what exactly is Microsoft Entra External ID and how does it work?
Thank you. I'll take that. So you've probably worked with Microsoft Entra product suite. So Microsoft Entra product suite has very many products. Some of them are on the zero trust element. Some are protecting the workloads, and also some are protecting the internal enterprise authentication as well. So Microsoft Entra External ID is one of the products within Microsoft Entra product suite, but it specifically caters for authentication for external identities. And by external identities, we mean customers, partners, suppliers, anyone who's outside your workforce. So you probably have like a web application, and in that web application, or maybe like for today, we'll be showing you like a Copilot agent, and then you want to open that to people who are outside your workforce or who are not your employees. So Microsoft Entra External ID gives you that capability in a secure and scalable way. And it's very fine. Like this one is one of the products that you will have visibility around security for all the users that are added within the Microsoft Entra Admin Center. And you have, if someone is trying to infiltrate or maybe to attack your application, you'll have that visibility as well. You can imagine like you're using the whole scale of Microsoft security to make sure that your application is secure and your login and your sign up is secure as well.
Right, right. Because it sounds like a bunch of what you've said really ties into the security aspects of it all. And now more than ever, why is the security of a app important, especially when it comes to building out these conversational AI apps with agents in Copilot Studio?
Yeah, I like that question because with the introduction of Gen AI, we're actually seeing a lot more. The threat landscape has actually increased. So we had all these security vulnerabilities, but right now with Gen AI being introduced, like there are a lot more security vulnerabilities. And definitely, in order for us to make sure that the right person has access to the right resources, we have to enforce authentication, authorization, and also, I don't know, maybe you've seen in the chat box as well, like you have citation. So you also have to make sure that the right people have access to the right resources so that no one who shouldn't have access to a particular resource gets access to that resource, what we also call like privileged group. So it's very important for us to make sure that you have security in depth and securing every element of your application, be it Gen AI applications, any kind of application. It's very important for us to make sure that we're securing each and every component, and authentication plays a big part to it.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for that. But then now I think if you can share your screen and tell us more and show us a bit of a demo.
Sure. Let me take it from here. I'm gonna show you how to create an agent in Copilot Studio, and then how to integrate that agent to use enter external identities as an identity provider. Okay. So let me know if you see my screen.
Yep, everything is good.
Perfect. So I'm going to create a new agent. I'm already signed into the Copilot Studio, as you can see. Now I'm not going to do much customization of the agent. I'm going to skip to configure directly. I'm going to create this name, test integration. Copy this here as a description. Give information about just a simple instructions for this test agent. Once the agent is created, I'm going to go to the settings and then to the authentication part to show you how to configure the integration. Okay, now that the agent is already created, I'm going to click on settings here at the top right. From settings, I'm going to choose security, the first option in the list. And then from security, I'm going to choose authentication. Okay. Now in the authentication settings, I'm going to choose authenticate manually. This is because we don't have at the moment an out of the box integration between Entra external identities and the Copilot Studio. So let me clean this up. So basically what I did is I went to settings, then to security, then to authentication, and I choose authenticate manually. You need to make sure that this required usage to sign in is on, and we need to copy the redirect URL. Okay, this is the first step of the process. After we copy the redirect URL, we're going to switch to the Entra portal, which I'm going to do right now. And here in the Entra portal, I'm going to register a new app registration. So I go to the Entra portal, I choose applications, app registration, and then I'm going to click on new app registration. I'm going to use the same name, Copilot ID integration, or any name you want. I'm going to leave it in single tenant here as the first option. And in the redirect duty, I'm going to paste the URL I copied from Copilot Studio agent configuration. And I will click on register. Okay. Now we need to start grabbing some information from the app registration and use it in the agent configuration. So I'm going to copy the application ID here. Okay. I'm going to go and paste it in the Copilot client ID field. Okay. So application ID goes to client ID field. Then I'm going to create a secret for this application. So I go to client and secrets in the app registration. I want to create a new secret, give it any name, just secret. And now I'm going to copy and paste the secret into the Copilot settings. Okay. Now, for the rest of the parameters of this integration, we have a blog that we posted some time ago. So I'm going to use that blog as a reference on how to fill this configuration. So I'm going to move to my other browser instance here. This is the blog I'm mentioning, I'm referring to, allow your customers to access your copilots. Okay. So in this blog, in step 3, I'm going to go directly to step 3. It will provide all the information I need to complete the configuration. Okay. So I already copied the client ID and the client secret. I'm going to use a comma for the scope delimiter. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the Copilot And here for scope delimiter, I'm minus a comma. Okay. For the authorization URL template, I'm gonna go and grab the token, the authorization endpoint from the app registration. So here in the app registration, I need to go to overview and then click on endpoints. And here you will see that we have an authorization endpoint B2, which I'm gonna copy and paste it in the Copilot authorization URL template field. Okay. Now for the authorization URL query string template, I'm gonna check the blog entry just to make sure I don't miss anything. So I'm gonna copy this string. This is the authorization query string template. I'm gonna paste it in the box here. And now I need to do some replacing. Okay, replacing some fields. So the first thing I need to do is replace the client ID with the client ID that I obtained from the app registration. Okay, so I'm gonna use the one I have here and replace the client ID. And I will do the same with the reply URL or redirect URL. I'm gonna go here. And replace the redirect URI with the redirect URL. For the token URL template, I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna go to Entra app registration endpoints, and I'm gonna copy the OAuth 2.0 token endpoint URL. Okay, and paste it here. For the token query string template, I'm gonna go to the blog post to see what is the recommendation. So for the token URL query string template, I'm gonna use a question mark. And for the token body template, I'm gonna copy and paste what I have in the blog post. So copy from the blog post, paste it here, and I'm going to replace again the client ID with the proper client ID and the redirect URI with the agent redirect URI. And please do leave the rest of the fields as they are because they are important. For example, the authorization code, the grant type, you need to leave the rest of the fields as they are, okay? Now for the refresh URL template, we have to use the same endpoint that we use for token. So I'm gonna copy the same endpoint here. For the query string template, I'm gonna use again a question mark. And for the refresh body template, I'm gonna go back to the blog post and copy the refresh URL template body, okay, here. And basically, I'm going to replace the client ID and the redirect URL again. So you see, this is not complex to do, but it requires do some replacing of text here in these fields. So I'm gonna copy here the reply URL and paste it here. Okay, and I'm gonna leave the profile and OpenID scopes because those are the ones that the agent needs to run. I'm gonna save here. And while the agent is saving the changes, I'm gonna go back to the app registration and I will give a bit permissions for those scopes. Okay, so I'm gonna give permissions for the profile and OpenID and also the offline access scopes. To do that, I need to go to the app registration. In the app registration, I need to go to API permissions, click on Add API permissions or Add Permissions. Then I will choose Microsoft Graph. I will choose Delegated Permissions. And these are the first in the list. I'm going to choose Profile, OpenID, and Offline Access. Okay. I'm going to add those permissions. And once the permissions are added, I need to grant admin consent for those permissions. Okay. So I'm going to click on Grant Admin Consent. This is to avoid the user needs to consent the access. Okay. So once I have that, I think I can go back to my agent and give it a try. Let me see if this saved correctly. The agent is provisioned. So I'm gonna go back to agents. Here is my test external ID integration agent. So if you see here at the right of the page, you will find that we have this login button or link. This is because we configured correctly the integration. So now what I'm gonna do is click here on the login button, and you will see that this is redirecting me to my Entra External Identities portal, and I need to authenticate with a user. I'm going to enter the password. I won't stay sign in for now. So, this will give me this code that I need to copy and paste in the agent. This behavior is part of the agent implementation, right? So it's not something that we control from Entra External Identity, so we need to do that. So once I paste the code that I get from the redirect duty here, once I paste it, I'm already running in the agent with my authentication done. Okay. So basically that's it. So just a quick recap. I created an agent, and then I went to the settings of the agent here and configure in security, authentication, the manual option, and the generic auth service provider. Okay. All this information, as I mentioned before, is in this blog post. Right? You can follow this blog post. It will give you a step by step on how to do it. Okay.
Thank you very much for that awesome, comprehensive demo there. As you were going through it, I was wondering what could be the common pitfalls that devs might encounter during the actual integration, and how can they avoid such?
Well, the main complication is that we don't have an out of the box integration like we do with Entra ID for Workforce. So this is not easy to guess, and that is why we created this documentation, right? Uh, so the main issue will be to follow this blog post and do it step by step, making sure that we enter the correct information in each of the settings, right? So besides that, I don't see any other complication.
Maybe the thinking. I think one thing that I've seen most people doing wrong as well is on Entra Admin Center. So when you're creating the tenant, you have to make sure that you're creating the external tenant, that you're using the external tenant and not the workforce tenant, because workforce is mainly for the internal workforce as well, or your employers. So when you're going, maybe Fabian, you can just show them.
Sure. Uh, I will show you how you can check if your tenant is an external tenant, because creating a tenant is a little bit longer to progress. But if you click on manage tenants, you will see here the tenant type in this case is external, right? So once you create a tenant, you need to make sure that it's an external tenant. The way to make sure is to click on the overview and then click on Manage Tenants and make sure that the tenant type is external. Okay.
Right. Okay, yes. So just make sure that you follow the blog step by step and don't miss anything. And just make sure that you are copying and pasting all of the relevant clients and keys into the right places, and everything should work out. And of course, as you've pointed out there, just making sure that you are creating the correct tenant, because those are some of the issues that some people might come across. But as people are going through some of these tasks, are there any ways in which people can provide feedback or give ideas on how to improve on the overall experience?
Sure. We have in this blog post, at the bottom of the blog post, we have a form. Let me go directly to it, where you leave your feedback. Um, so if you click on share your thoughts and suggest new features, it will take you to this feedback form, and you can leave your comments here, right? And for sure, we will review this feedback and use it to improve our product.
Right. And all links, both to the blog post and to this form, will be in the description in the video. But most importantly, how can people learn more about this integration or about Entra External ID in general? And where can they connect with you both?
Thank you. You can connect with us as well on LinkedIn. We are open, and in case you have any feedback, and as well as how we can improve the product as well, you can let us know. And we also have our dev blogs. So dev blogs, I will share the description as well. That's where we post most of the external ID features that we keep releasing. And we also have our developer center, the Identity Developer Center. So that's where we have all the documentations, the videos, and everything that you would need. I would usually say it's a one-stop shop for everything identity developer related resources. And we also have this resource. It's called the Wood Groove Groceries. It's a very good resource for you to learn Microsoft Entra External ID because you have several use cases here. You can see we have all these use cases. You can go to the sign in, the sign up, user profile. You can see all these use cases that we have available, and just click on it, and you can be able to see all these capabilities that are available in Microsoft Entra External ID. I'll also add, um, if you're wondering, like you don't have a tenant, an external tenant, you can also create a trial tenant, which is available for 30 days that you can be able to use for all your learning resources. So these are very good resources. Use the Woodgroove groceries and as well as dev blogs, our developer center, and also connect with us.
Yeah, let me point one more thing about the Google demo. We have at the bottom of the page the source code of this application. So if you want to take a look at how this application was implemented, you can click on the link, and this will take you to the Google demo repositories where you can see how this application was built, and you can also, in the use cases, when you check a specific use case, let's say pre-populate, you can see here in this link how this is configured in the tenant. So sometimes I find this really useful because it's a step by step on how to configure in the external ID tenant. Okay.
Cool. And again, all links that we've talked about here will be found in the YouTube description. And we have a bunch of awesome docs on Microsoft Learn as well, as we have just mentioned. But again, thank you both for so much for shedding light on this very important topic. And thank you, the viewers watching, and we'll see you next time on the Low Code Revolution. Thank you.